One of the things I learned the most from my cast members and especially Kate was the attention to detail. Really, just the smallest details can mean so much, and also being open and receptive to those details and letting them affect you. It can be really easy to be like, oh, this is just a story. It's not real. They're just characters. But a lot of these characters are based off of real people, and a lot of these things happen in real life. So it's important to put in the work and the energy and the focus on the details, because that just makes it that much richer and brings it that much closer to real life. It was really, really beautiful to watch her do that. And one of the things she did, which I thought was really cool, and I hope I'm not giving anything away, but pretty cool. But she was like, she got the phone from Props, and she was like, I don't think Mare's phone would be, I think it would be cracked, and have dirt on it and be like maybe food, And so it's one of the small things. I mean, she did so much work and details to create the trauma that her character experienced, that it's really impressive and admirable, and just really amazing to watch and to see. So I really took that in and took that to heart. It's important to know what time of day it is and what your character had for breakfast and the coffee, because all of these things just add up and make it that much more real for you to get into it, and therefore the audience to get into it more too. So yeah, it was awesome to watch. I think my favorite scene to shoot, my favorite scene, I was most excited to shoot the bar scene, because it's really fun to play drunk, and it keeps everything very loose, and you can improvise and play around. And I remember after, some of my friends watched it and they were like, oh man, they were like, I know that guy. And I was like, yeah, it was kind of nice to be able to play, a little bit, something a little closer to home. And I felt really connected to the things he was going through. And I felt, I definitely, definitely have had my fair share of bars. And yeah, so it was fun to shoot. It was exciting to shoot. It was, on the day, it was actually a little intense and a little stressful. But I think, honestly, one of my favorite days to shoot, my favorite scenes that actually ended up being a favorite scene to shoot, was the scene where we find the bullet in the park, because that was just a whole day. We got there really early, and we sort of mapped out the whole day, and we went through it kind of all as, shooting it sort of how the characters would go through it, looking for the bullet and calling in the dogs. And it was just a fun scene to shoot. It felt like we were really in the story at that point. And we were back from quarantine, and it was just great to see everybody. So yeah, it was really that was a really fun one to shoot. Um, I think the most demanding scene to shoot was the dock scene. It was so much dialogue. And Kate was like, God, you get really strange when you have a lot of dialogue. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's because my hair is literally falling out. But she was like, it'll be fine. And so yeah, it was a big character reveal. It was sort of he'd been living with this secret for all of these episodes, and I was like, oh gosh, I don't know. And it was freezing. It was so cold that morning that you couldn't even speak. That was, and it was very early, and I'm not an early person. So yeah, it was really stressful. And then, not to mention the fact that I was going to have to kiss Kate Winslet, which is kind of a dream come true. But also terrifying. I mean, like, what if I do it wrong? My breath smells, or how am I going to do this? It was really so stressful. But Kate's awesome, and we did it. We got through it, and it was done. So yeah, but it was quite quite a stressful day and a stressful night before. Yeah. Well, I did a lot of research in my 20s and my 30s. um, and yeah, I listen to music a lot too before I do a scene, and I was listening to Michael McDonald's "Lonely Teardrops," which is a great song that just kind of gets you in that zone, and it's really about lost love and sort of not wanting to be where you're at in your life. Kind of I don't know, it makes you feel kind of like you want to throw stuff and you're upset and angry. And so that had that one. And then I listened to John Mayer's New Light, great song. And that was really about Colin, wanting to be with Mayer more than a friend. Um, and yeah, and I think just being in a bar atmosphere, I think like that really, once you get in a bar, you can't help but go back to the revelry of your earlier days. Um, and and yeah, and working with Kate Winslet, I think honestly that was a lot of it. It really just being, she's talented and brilliant and smart and beautiful, and it's like that is not hard to work with. So that was great. And then I write a lot too. I wrote a lot of about like failure and not being where not being where you want to be in your life and all sorts of. I won't bore you with that. But yeah, that was pretty much what I did to prepare for that scene. The moment I knew that Colin was going to get shot in the face, I was shocked. I was shocked, and I thought it was tragic and just a crazy, abrupt, shocking way to go. And I couldn't help but flash back to Burn After Reading when Brad Pitt's character gets shot in the face. It's such a shocking moment, and you're kind of like, wait, what? You kind of you're shocked at first, and then you laugh, and then you're like, wait, but I love that guy. I didn't want him to die, and so I felt a little of that reading it and knowing that. So I wanted to try to have that same feeling on this one. And yeah, it felt very real too. It felt very, death is kind of around the corner for all of us, and that's a little dark, but it's true. And so I like the idea that this character is finally coming around and being at the high point in his life, and then he's gone, and that's just how it happens in real life. So it really it felt tragic and real and shocking, and I thought it was a very interesting way for the character to go. So yeah, I was excited to shoot it. But yeah, it was definitely tragic for sure.